Hello there, everybody. It's been a while since I've made a video, so I'm going to try and get at it again. And today I'm taking a walk. I'm about a half a mile from my house right now, and I'm taking a walk through the countryside here. And this is the type of area that I live in. There is nobody but me. Anyhow, on this road here that I am on at the moment, I usually drive up and down it very fast. I actually use these roads like they were my own personal Grand Prix circuit. But one day, down at the bottom of the hill, flying along in the car, windows open, sunny day, and some papers flew out through the window of the car. I had to stop, get out, pick them up, and as I picked them up, I saw something bizarre, which when I get to the bottom of the hill, I am going to show it to you. Now, see there, like for example, this is one of our local little off-road racetracks where we come on buggies and scooch around the odd Sunday during the summer. It's wild. Okay, I'll stall it here until I get around the corner. I'm still on my way down the hill, but if you can see across the way there, see there's a valley down there with a little river in, but just across the way there at the land, you see the way it just has lines on it as it drops down and then it drops down again. It gets better. So we come to our first bend in the road, and I'm just going to sneak in here. I really can't say what anything is here, you know. I mean, if I owned this pile of rocks here, I wouldn't just dump them here, okay? Now, look there, up there, the trees about to fall down. That's a bit too straight looking for me, you know? And then in here, look, you know I built dry stone walls around my house, some of them on the videos you've seen. And I was searching for big stones like this here because I used a digger to pick them up and put them in. But you wouldn't dump these here, man. This is, these are precious. Don't know whether they've come out of there, fallen down out of there. Don't know. Yeah, so they're digging in here to dig out some stuff, but higher up, look at these rock faces. And then soft earth and a tree line on top. Now I'm coming down to the next bend in the road, and it's all been dug out. And somewhere around here, because when I found this thing at the bottom of the hill, I decided to have a little closer look around. Okay, and see a few things. Now, it's been a few days now. I was a little bit out of it on that Hindu Kush when I was up here, so can't really remember where that bit of stuff was. There's rocks there sticking out. And I mean, that little hill there doesn't go up much higher than this, but water just keeps coming out of it all the time. Same up in my place. So you see on the side of the road, as the road is dug in, you've got rock faces. Whoops, yeah, break my neck while I'm at it. And it flows. So it keeps going all the way down here, through this area here. Now, anybody wants to come, there's another one down there, you see it? I will get closer to it in a minute. I hate zooming in on this phone. I always hit the wrong thing, mess up my video. But this is Middle Earth. There'll be hobbits down there. Now anybody wants to come along here and do a Lord of the Rings trilogy, quadrilogy, this is the place. Because I mean, no one has ever set foot down in there. You wouldn't catch me down in there. Well, you could go down in there. It's too slippery and wet to go down in there in the winter time. In the summertime, it's full of snakes and dragons. Now, other side of the road, yes, they've been digging into the hill again. And here's the bottom of the hill. We are at the bottom of the hill, at the place that I want to get to. And this is like fairy tale territory. Now, I've seen a lot of videos. Ireland's like this, England's like this. I've seen so much of America like this. And this is what it's like here. I come down here, choose now, it's February the 20th, I think, in 10:22. And I'm going to cross the road here now, and I'm going to have to get inside this field. Now, can I get down there? I don't think so. I ain't going to try. There's a little bridge. And on the other side, and again, as I say, this ain't a massive hill. Where's all this water coming from? It drizzled this past few days. The week previous to that, the sun was shining all the time. This water's coming from somewhere. I must take a bottle of it one day and have it tested. So here I am, I found a way in. All I have to do is cross these rapids. Yeah, that's an electric fence, I think. 1, 2, 3. Underneath the electric fence, into the field. And would you take a look at that? Now that is not natural. That is not the type of farming that they do around here. Okay? Let me get a bit closer. So, I was driving along, papers flew out through the window of the car, got out at the bridge, looked across, and saw this. And I said to myself, nobody ever sees this, because nobody walks down that road. Because the next village is miles from there, and you're going through so much deep countryside. Whoops, look at the ground. I'm gonna fall and break something, as long as it's not my camera. And I looked across and I saw this. Now obviously the farmer that owns this field knows about it, but this is not steppe farming. It doesn't happen around here. There is no reason for anyone to landscape this like this. Fucking out of breath. But somehow I'm going to get to the top of this, okay? Now I'm telling you what I think. I'm going to say what I think it is. Because the entire countryside around here is hiding many buried structures. And this to me is a ziggurat. So let me just walk along it here. Right. There is a path like left by hooved animals. This is a place where there's a lot of deer, a lot of wild boar. This is not the type of place you'd put cattle, because this is the type of place where cows would fall. But anyhow, as I get closer now, I'm just going to go up and just take a little walk around there, the bend, and see how far this thing goes. Because, like, as I said, we're deep in the countryside. Probably one of the most rural parts of all of France. And as I say, nobody goes up and down that road. Nobody stops on it. Nobody decides to go for a walk somewhere. I would never have found it had I not stopped the car that day. But I'm gonna just go around here, around the bend, see how far it goes. And then I'm gonna try to get to the top. See what's sitting up top. Fuck me, it's mucky. There is cattle here. Anyway. There's a fat. There's a fat. Did you hear that? There's a fence blocking and a fairy tree behind it. My God, I'm covered in muck. Fence and a fairy tree. And the river runs through it. Looks a little bit stepped on the far side also. You can see it there. Let me make my way to the top. So here I am now up at the top of this hill. Look at that beauty. A dead tree, but just sitting there. If you can see the hill beyond, I mean, quarter of a mile away, you can see again layered and some type of circular mound up on it. People don't worry about these things, they just leave them. They say, oh, it's a sanctuary for wild animals, you know. But anyway, I'm up at the top of this hill. This is a boots on the ground operation, by the way. Now there's the ground, and there's one boot, and there's the other boot. I'm soaking. The hill goes on. That layered structure is down there towards the river. But again, there is this, it's not a trench for water drainage or anything like that. No, there's water everywhere, they ain't in there. It appears to run down the hill. Yeah. A car, would you believe it? I can hear a car. Sunday morning. Now, here comes the tricky bit. Got to make my way back down here again. These trees are thin and straight. Not like the big trees, oak tree down around my house, if you've seen it on other videos. They don't appear to go down into the ground all that far. There appears to be only a layer of a few feet of soil, and they're rooted into it. And I mean, like, when a wind comes through here or a storm comes through, it just knocks, they just fall over. Because they got no root. Because they're growing out of a massive structure that's underground. And they are everywhere around here. People do not notice them. They've looked at them all their lives. They drive straight past them. I drive past them. Many of them are in places where it's hard to stop a car. And if you do stop, you know, it's a little browse of hills and things like that there. But off to the left and off to the right, I am finding these weird anomalies. It's the only way to call it. as I make my way down, back down this pyramidal structure. Well, it's got a bend in it, but it's going up on layers. I'm going to cut it here so I can make my way down here in one piece. So a final glance at this while I make my way back down to the road. Yeah, tell me what you think. It's not a farming technique I'm familiar with. Yeah, it coupled with everything else I'm finding, which I ain't getting out of the house, and ain't getting the opportunity to go and see and do, you know, but I'll find a few more. They are everywhere. Something's up. So I'm back down here at the end of the road. There's your Ziggurat across the road. There's the bend in the road. And then again, just across, what have I got? I got layered rock structure. Yeah, and a tree with 2 feet of roots, if that, to hold it in place. Look at those babies in there. And up there. And up there. So, and here, look at that baby. Oh, hold on a second. Look at this baby with scratch marks on it. And there's another. So, is it nature? That looks a bit like slate rock. Or are we looking at something in a mess, collapsed in on itself, mud flooded, and these are all mud flood hills around here, burying all types of old buildings, all the villages and towns with 1-2 floors going down underneath. And we're on high ground, about 250 meters above sea level. Starting to rain now. Shit. But anyway, for me, it was the perfect place, not just for filming Lord of the Rings, but for hiding out and riding out this storm that has blown over this past 2 years. And basically that's what I did. I just let the storm blow over me. I live deep in the countryside. There'll be 3 or 4 cars past my house each day. And when I went to the shop, I have one of these neck warmers, you know. I bring it everywhere with me in the winter. I never forget it. You never know when you're going to get a chilly breeze. And this has protected me for years from catching a chill or anything like that. And there's that looks like a walled structure down there. Yeah, definitely. Have to go down and investigate that one day. Ain't going down in there today, as it is freezing cold. But anyway, when I go to the shop to do my shopping, I'm going to turn the camera around on you now. You're going to see me. This is how I go. I pull my neck warmer up over my face. I do my shopping. I leave the supermarket. Yeah, sometimes I wear a pair of dark sunglasses. Look at these, they're so wet I can't see out through them. And then when I leave the shop, I pull it down. I ain't worn a mask once since this stupid disease started. You know? So it's all going to end soon. They can't keep going with it. People worldwide, as you know, are waking up to it all. And I've had a few medical professionals around, and I have posed questions to them, you know? And a simple question of, where does any synthetic molecule serve the living? There's no answer. They can't answer me. Yeah. As well as that, I posed the question, I forget the question now. Yes, I asked, can you prove to me that a certain thing with a certain name and a certain number has been isolated clinically and identified? No answer. And silence is acquiescence, as you know. So they said to me, you know, and me and my family, any of you, you know, if you're feeling unwell, it's very important to go to the doctor and get a diagnosis, you know. So I didn't ask to define what doctor meant. So I said, define diagnosis for me. And she says, well, it's when you go to the doctor, you're feeling sick, and they diagnose what's wrong with you. I said, well, you're lucky you're not my doctor, or my lawyer for that matter, because gnosis means to know, agnosis means not to know, and diagnosis means when two people don't know. Yeah? So how many times have you been to the clinic or been to the hospital with a sore arm and you got two doctors? You know, Dr. Necessiter? Oh, yes, Dr. Havar. Could you come over here, please, for a moment? Yes, Dr. Havar. What are we looking at here? I think we're looking at a sore arm. I concur. That is a diagnosis. See ya all.